happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. Now you guys can probably already tell it is going down just by that title alone. You guys are definitely gonna want to check this one out. So we got Trump's AG Pam Bondi now putting her foot down, saying enough with the talk. Time for some action, as she is now targeting the governor of Maine, Janet Mills, after her blatant obstruction of federal orders. Guys, I'm excited to get to this one, so we're not straight into it. All I ask that you guys please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and without further ado, let's get straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
Today, the Department of Justice is announcing a civil lawsuit against the Maine Department of Education. The state of Maine is discriminating against women by failing to protect women in women's sports. Pretty basic stuff. This is a violation of Title IX. The Department of Justice will not sit by when women are discriminated against in sports. This is about sports. This is also about these young women's personal safety. I've met many of these women throughout the past weeks and months, and what they have been through is horrific. We have exhausted every other remedy. We tried to get Maine to comply. We don't like standing up here and filing lawsuits. We want to get states to comply with us. That's what this is about. We have repeatedly notified Maine of its infractions and urged them to remedy the situation to protect women. We've stripped grants from Maine through other departments, and we are going to continue to fight for women. Let me give you some examples. Let me give you a timeline. This timeline, I think, is pretty important. So in February 2024, these are just a few examples. A biological boy started competing in women's ski races and cross-country races in Maine. He came in first in the 5K with a time that would have been 43rd among men. In February 2025, a biological boy won first place in the pole vaulting competition in Maine's indoor track and field meet. He beat every other girl by a significant margin. That qualified him for regional championships. That took a spot away from a young woman in women's sports. Shame on him. February 21st, 2025, President Trump has the governors at the White House. President Trump has the exchange with Janet Mills. He asked her about the issue. Her response, "We'll see you in court." Well, we still didn't sue. HHS and the Department of Ed opened investigations in an attempt to get them to comply. They both found violations. And in March, Maine refused to comply. I want to read you this letter. This is from the Maine Attorney General to the Department of Education. We will not sign the resolution agreement. We do not have revisions or a counterproposal. We agree we are at an impasse. Nothing in Title IX or its implementing regulations prohibits schools from allowing transgender girls and women to participate on girls' and women's sports teams. Well, they must not be reading the same Title IX that we're reading. We believe they are failing to protect women, and it's not only an issue in sports. It is a public safety issue. These boys are allowed to go in women's restrooms. They are allowed to go in the women's dressing rooms and get fully naked and change in biological boys and change clothes in front of these young women. Maine's leadership has refused to comply at every turn, so now we have no other choice. We are taking them to court. What we are seeking, We are seeking an injunction to get them to stop this, stop what they're doing. That's pretty simple. And we are seeking to have the titles returned to the young women who rightfully won these sports. And we are also considering whether to retroactively pull all the funding that they have received for not complying in the past. And I'm so proud of these brave young women standing behind me. I see and lots of parents in the front too, and I've met you. Thank you to the parents for supporting your daughters and telling them it's okay to fight back and stand up for what they believe in. Some of these young women have endured vicious injuries too as a result of boys playing in their sports.
Margaret, Daily Wire.
Thank you, Attorney General Bondi. I wanted to ask if there's other states that you're focused on. Which ones are next for these types of abuses, including men and women's prisons?
Well, first we're looking at, for this, we're looking at Minnesota. We're looking at California. We're looking at many, many states, but they are the top two that should be on notice because we've been communicating with them. And just like Maine, we're not going out there. We don't want to be suing people. We want them to comply with the law. And that's what we're doing. We have given them opportunity, Maine, an opportunity over and over again. The Department of Education, HHS, they went and sat down with them in person, multiple meetings, and got nowhere. So now this is where we are because they refuse to protect young women in their state. So yes, Minnesota, California, multiple states. As far as prisons, had nothing to do with Title IX. We took away funding from Maine as well. We decided to go a different direction in our grants because we saw one reason they allowed a 6'1", 245 giant man who had violently, no murders, nice, but he had violently murdered his parents with a knife and the family dog, serving life in prison, and he chose to identify as a woman. So guess where he's being housed? In a female prison in Maine. So therefore, my office, we don't want to give any more money to the Department of Corrections in Maine if that's how they're going to act. We're going a different direction in our funding.
Sadie with the Journal.
Hi there. So Maine's governor yesterday said there were maybe at most 2 trans athletes in Maine schools right now. I just was hoping you could talk a little bit about the sort of amount of federal resources that you're putting into this and why that's worth it given the small impact in Maine. And I have a second off-topic question too. Given that it has some of the same elements as the fire bombings of Tesla dealerships that you've charged federally and called domestic terrorism, I'm wondering if you would say the arson at Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's house would also be domestic terrorism and something you would investigate federally, and if not, what constitutes domestic terrorism?
Okay, so first the on-topic question about the, I haven't heard Janet Mills' comment. Governor Mills said it's only a couple trans athletes. Well, I think those are boys who identify as girls wanting to beat girls in girls' sports. Well, if one young woman is in jeopardy, one, that's enough for us to be standing up here. One, no boy will be undressing in a girl's locker room. No boy will be walking in a woman's restroom. And no boy, when we're finished with this, will be beating young girls in sports. These young women many of them have trained, since you were in elementary school for your sport? Riley, when did you start swimming? 4 years old. They have trained their entire lives. Some of them have lost scholarships. They have lost regionals. They have lost state because of boys. I don't care if it's 1. I don't care if it's 2. I don't care if it's 100. It's going to stop, and it's going to stop in every single state.
Yo, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness, AG Pam Bondi not messing around when it comes to these men inside of women's sports, and rightfully so. I mean, this is one that is just like a no-brainer. It's so simple. Common sense would tell you that this is not right. Like, this is a problem that 30 years ago, if you told this to someone, they wouldn't even believe you because it's just so far far-fetched. It makes no sense while these folks want to advocate, stand in the way of what is right. So happy to see we got such driven leadership like Pam Bondi, who's not going to mess around with this nonsense. Her attitude towards this, her speech alone just lets you know that she's not going to play around, especially when it comes to this governor of Maine, who's tried to, go against Donald Trump multiple times. She was the one that had the outbreak during the luncheon, saying that she was going to see Donald Trump in court. Now it's her time to actually pay. She ignored Donald Trump for how long, ignored the federal orders, said that she was not going to comply, had her federal funding stripped. And now it's coming down to her position in the office. Hopefully you see her getting removed. Impeached. Pam Bondi is saying lawsuit after lawsuits are on the way. So hopefully we get justice in this situation. I feel like everyone who voted for Donald Trump, this is who they're going against us. They're not going against Trump, his leadership at the end of the day. Because we voted Donald Trump in almost in a mandate saying that we were opposed to these issues. We were opposed to our border, our southern borders being open. And these folks that are trying to stand in the way of that are going against the will of the people, y'all. Hopefully this stops here soon and we get some true justice in these situations, guys. But definitely hop in the comment section. Comments are open. Excited to hear what you guys are thinking about this. And also make sure you guys please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next week.